I believe, Mayor, you have a recognition you'd like to make, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like for Coach Jackson and the members of the Simmons 8th grade team to come forward. We'd just like to recognize them tonight, the 8th grade football team. And these members won the 2020 and the 2021 Metro Football Championship. They finished with a 14-2 record over the last 2 seasons. This group set a school record for points allowed. We have Jonah Winston, Justin Hartley, Will Adams, Trey Sanders were awarded the Metro Player of the Year. The Victor Hill Award was awarded to Jackson Lassiter, and Jarrett Goldsby was awarded the Tough Buck Award. So we're very proud of these young players, but just all of the effort and the hard work that they've put into over these last 2 years. But as you each know, it's a team effort, right? Very important. Coach, we just appreciate your leadership, just teaching and training these young men up in the right way, and just learning to serve as a team and learning to serve in our community and their school. And we congratulate each and every one of you, and we look forward to more and more success each year.
We'll take a few pictures, and any parents that would like to come take them, you're welcome to.
I had an 8th grader last year. You did too?
Everybody be seen?
I'm trying.
All right, everyone ready? Miss Posey? Nice ball. All right, now I'd like to call on Mr. Rice for our update on flooding report.
Thanks, Mr. President. Is that it, Madam Clerk? That's the one? Okay. Let's see what we got. Hey, it works. Okay. Thank you, Mr. President, members of council. We've had a little bit more progress in the last couple of weeks. We have one additional report of private property damage for a total of 390. Unfortunately, we've had no additional public projects to emerge, so we're remaining at 27. We still await formal word from FEMA about whether or not the October 6th storm will be a federally declared event. We're learning more about the different forms of assistance for public and private entities under a declared disaster and a non-declared event. So we're going to be able to move fairly quickly with information to the public about what they can do in either case, whether or not we receive a presidential declaration. I'm going to talk at the end about some of the questions that have come up about the role of the private engineers that have been out to do work at people's houses. We were able to get the three outstanding private damage assessments completed, so all 390 claims have been assessed by the city or a representative of the city. We currently only have one pending public project, and that is where Deodare Drive circles around Star Lake on the country club side. We lost a significant amount of the shoulder of the road. The road itself is still stable, but there's a substantial drop off there. And we're awaiting some final design work so that can go out for estimates. But there are 3 projects that remain underway. You'll see that on this list that are coded green. Contractor's been released, and those are in varying degrees of completion at this point in time. And the 23 projects listed in yellow have all been complete. So that brings us up to the total 27 projects that we're looking at on the public side. And in terms of the financial impact, we haven't had to request any additional allocation beyond the 2.5, or appropriation rather, beyond the 2.2 million. We've currently expended 1.966 of that, which is an increase of about 136,000 since the last report. And our overtime expenditures have increased by $1,428 for a total of $43,065. On the contracted engineering services, in the next report in 2 weeks, you'll start to see a third dollar amount there, and that will be the money that's actually been spent. So you've allocated the 309, we've encumbered all that, but we don't know that we'll need to spend all that. We're starting now to see invoices coming in from the outside engineers. So Ms. Bolt's going to provide a number starting next report that will talk about how much of that we've actually spent. We'll be able to track how much of that we need. I wanted to just add a little bit of clarification to the role of those private engineers. So they've gone out to all 390 private reports. In many cases, they were able to meet with a property owner. They were there for really twofold purpose. One was to perform a damage assessment strictly for the purpose of bundling information, sending it up through FEMA so that we could try to meet or exceed the federal threshold. And we wanted to be sure that we had a good, tight, accurate analysis for that. Their other purpose was, in many cases, the homeowner was not clear about whether or not the event arose from public or private infrastructure. And so when that question came up, they did go ahead and do an assessment, and they've sent that information in to the engineering department. And they're now working through all those, and we'll be communicating back to private property owners on a couple of different points of information. All 390 property owners will receive communications about what channels of federal assistance are available once we know about the declaration status of the storm. And then those who have inquired about whether or not it is their responsibility as a property owner or the city's responsibility will receive a determination and a letter communicating to them, hey, your situation arose on private property and therefore it's private responsibility, or your situation is a result of some involvement of public infrastructure and the city has added it to their work list to correct. So they'll hear back on a couple different things. I know there was a little confusion maybe at the last council meeting. One of the speakers wasn't sure what feedback they would receive. So that's the information that they'll get back from our engineers and our attorneys. We will be robustly educating people and assisting people with the assistance process. Once we know which FEMA programs are eligible, we'll be having town hall meetings. We'll put things on the website. We'll put things on social media. And in the case where somebody might need basically a caseworker or someone to walk them through that process, we'll provide those services as well, either through city staff or through some contracted assistance. So we're not just going to send people a flyer and say, these are the FEMA programs. We're going to make sure they know how to apply, what the circumstances are that qualify, and make sure that we can get their application all the way into the federal government. Any questions? All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We'll now move to their regular agenda. We did not have a work session last week. Therefore, each item will be discussed in a little bit of detail, so I ask for your patience as we work our way through these. We'll begin with item number 6, the approval of minutes.
Mr. President, I move for approval of the minutes without reading.
Second. We have a motion and a second for approval of the minutes. Any questions from the members? Any questions of the audience? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Item number 7 is resolution number 661321. Mr. Corley.
The city approved resolution number 658821 for the formation of the Healthcare Authority of the City of Hoover. This resolution appoints Charlie Faulkner for a 6-year term as a member of the Healthcare Authority of the City of Hoover for Place 1.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 6613-21.
Second. We have a motion and second for approval of the resolution. Any questions or comments from the members? Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The resolution carries. Item number 8, resolution number 661421. Mr. Corley.
This resolution amends the budget for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2022, as set forth in Exhibit A regarding the use of federal inmate fund revenue.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 6614-21.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Ms. Bolt.
Yes, basically all we're doing is moving funds in the special revenue fund, but this item was not previously in the budget, so that's why there's a budget amendment on that.
Any questions from the members for Ms. Bolt? Any questions or comments from members of the public? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Item number 9 is resolution number 661521. Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes the City of Hoover to join the Severe Weather Preparedness Sales Tax Holiday. The resolution provides for the exemption of municipal sales and use taxes on covered items during the period of 12:01 a.m. on Friday, February 25th, 2022, and ending at 12 midnight on Sunday, February 27th, 2022.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 6615-21.
Second. Ms. Bolt.
Yes, this is our typical severe weather preparedness sales tax holiday, again, set forth really by ADOR, and it covers items such as batteries, chargers, plastic sheeting, drop cloths, those type of things, anything that we would need during severe weather.
Any questions for Ms. Bolt? This is a routine item we consider every year. Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing and seeing none, we have a motion and a second for approval of the resolution. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Item number 10 is resolution number 661621. Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Shelby County Commission for aerial photography and topographic mapping.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 6616-21.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Mr. Cope, tell us about this one, please.
This is an annual agreement with Shelby County for the flying of aerial photography and the creation of planimetric data that we use within our GIS mapping systems.
As Mr. Cope said, this is an annual agreement I think each of us have voted on each year that we've been here. Any questions or comments from the body? Questions or comments from the public? Hearing and seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Item number 11, resolution number 6617-21. Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes the mayor to enter into a consulting agreement with USI Insurance Services.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 6617-21.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Ms. Carrier.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight, for your consideration, is an agreement for the insurance consultant position for risk management. As you know, the main duties of this consultant is to help us market the city to prospective insurance carriers, bring us proposals, and then bind the stop-loss coverage. After accepting proposals and considering everything, we would like to recommend the city hire USI Insurance Services, and Mr. Griffin Smith is our broker. USI is a national firm with public sector division, and they have a local office here in Birmingham. Mr. Smith and his team are here tonight, and at this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Smith, Vice President of Brokerage and Consulting with USI.
Good evening. Thank you for having us here this evening. I'm Griffin Smith. I'm Vice President of Brokerage and Consulting with USI here in Birmingham. Excited to discuss the opportunity to work with the City of Hoover tonight. Want to talk with you about a couple things, our local service team, our national resources, how we bring all that together with the goal of reducing the city's total cost of risk. So, I am a current resident of the City of Hoover. I have 3 kids and 1 more on the way, 2 currently enrolled in Hoover City Schools. So I care deeply about this community. I serve on the Dad Brigade there at the local schools. My wife is the PTA president at Greystone Elementary, which we love. I have been in the insurance and risk management business for over 10 years. I've specialized in working with larger organizations that have alternative risk finance structures, including self-funded arrangements, and currently work with a number of municipalities across Alabama, Florida, and other industries across the southeastern U.S. I'm going to introduce a couple more of my teammates, and then I'll come back and talk a little bit about USI as a company, how we're structured, and how our public sector group helps municipalities reduce their total cost. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Ronnie Jackson.
Good evening. My name is Ronnie Jackson. I'm a Senior Vice President with USI here in Birmingham. Been in the business for more than 40 years. I handle a large number of public entity type business, both in Alabama and Florida.
Good evening. I'm James Brittle, and I work at USI. Obviously, I've been in the insurance business over 25 years, and my specialty is in the marketing and placement of complex risk coverages. I also advise on environmental coverage extensively, and as a former risk manager in full-time practice, I support the risk management activities of our clients and round out their department and help them. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jim Williford, and I'm the Executive Vice President for USI here in Alabama. I'm the practice leader for our Alabama operating company, and my role is to support this team and the others that are part of our service team to make sure that we deliver the promises and the solutions that we make to our clients, and make sure our company is available, all the full resources we have to our clients. So it's a pleasure to be here tonight, and thank you for the opportunity to work with your team.
USI was established in the early 90s around the idea of using the blossoming amount of technology that we were using in a lot of different areas of the business world, coupled with world-class technology. So really brought those two ideas together to form an insurance and consulting firm that has grown to over 9,000 employees today across the United States and several other countries around the world. Here in Alabama, we have about 50 employees within our Birmingham office, Tuscaloosa office, and our Pensacola offices. Work with a number of industries specializing in public entity, healthcare, and a couple of others. We're deeply devoted to the communities in which we operate. Specifically, our USI Gives Back campaign. This year, our local Birmingham team was able to work with the Grace Klein community here in Hoover. We had the opportunity to work with some citizens who were facing food insecurity, which was an incredibly meaningful event for us. Our operating model is built around three concepts we like to refer to as our platform, our people, and our process. And I'll talk real briefly about how each of those work together. Starting with our platform, I mentioned our massive investments in technology over the last number of years. We have put together an AI-based knowledge engine that allows us to share ideas and resources from across our entire company and bring them into the local communities where we serve. Most important part of this two-prong or three-prong approach is what we refer to as our network. This is our people. So we've taken world-class insurance, brokerage, consulting professionals from within the insurance marketplace, brought them into our team, and we all work together within these different disciplines with one central goal in mind, which is having the client at the center of our enterprise process, working together to reduce our client's total cost of risk. Specific to the city of Hoover is our public entity practice group. We have a team of experts. Everyone represented here today is currently working with a number of municipal clients in a variety of ways, bringing their unique experience and expertise to bear for our clients to their benefit. Specifically, our national public sector practice group works with over 1,200 public sector clients, many of whom are municipalities, over 800 current municipal clients across the footprint. Our Birmingham office here works with a number of municipalities that are very similar in size and scope to the city of Hoover, including City of Pensacola, Jefferson County, City of Tuscaloosa, Tuscaloosa County, and a number of others. Nationally and regionally, our firm works with several major metropolitan areas, City of Atlanta, City of Chicago. And all these resources from our national standpoint are brought together using that Omni Analytics engine. So we have a local team that's here with you, backed by our national resources that are second to none within the industry. So I was asked wisely by Ms. Debbie to keep this brief, so I'm going to leave it at that and pause for any questions.
Any questions from the members for Mr. Smith? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We have a motion and second. I would ask, are there any questions for Ms. Carrier while she's still here?
Yes.
Ms. Carrier, I do want to thank you. I know that you've put a tremendous amount of work into this and due diligence into researching this organization and others. So if you would please pass that on to Ms. Roy as well. We greatly appreciate all the work y'all put into this. It's a very important task. Any questions or comments from the audience on the motion? Having a motion and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries.
Thank you.
We'll now move to item number 12, resolution number 6618-21. Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes the mayor to enter into an agreement for bid number 21-012 in the total amount of $151,960.15 for traffic control and traffic safety equipment.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 6618-21.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Bolt.
Yes, we received 6 bids. The invitation to bid was posted on our city's bulletin board as well as our city website. We actually mailed to 27 companies, and then we did bid notices distributed by email to 205 businesses, and we only received 6 bids. So we broke these into groups based upon part and devices. So one of the bids by Radar Sign was unsealed, so therefore it was rejected. So the rest of the bids were broken down by parts, and we accepted, or we are asking to accept the bids for the different parts. So Temple Inc. received 4 of those items. Southern Lighting and Traffic System received 4. Utilicom Supply received 2 of those items. Buffalo Electric received 1, and Cubic ITS also received 1. And again, a total of $151,960.
Any questions or comments for Ms. Bolt on this item? Any questions or comments from members of the public? We have a motion and second for approval of the resolution. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. That brings us to item number 13. Items 13, 14, and 15 are all second readings. We will have public hearings on each of those. Because they are second readings and we've had presentations a couple of different times, Mac, I'll just ask if there's any changes on those. And I know we have representatives, I think, of each of these items in the audience should anyone have questions or comments. Beginning with item number 13, resolution number 659921. Mr. Corley.
This resolution approves and assents to a declaration of vacation for the property set forth in the resolution.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 659921.
Second.
Mr. Martin.
Mr. President, there has not been a change since the first reading. All of the letters have come in from the various utility providers, and there are no issues.
Very good. This requires a public hearing, so we will open up the public hearing, and I'll begin by asking the members if they have any questions or comments for Mr. Martin. Any member of the public here for the public hearing who would like to speak about this item? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. We have a motion and second for approval of the resolution. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Item number 14, resolution number 660021. Mr. Corley.
This resolution grants conditional use approval for an amenity center and related appurtenances for property located at Knox Square, Hoover, Alabama.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 6600-21.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Martin.
Yes, Mr. President, no changes since the first reading. This covers approximately 3,000 square foot amenity building, an open lawn, and a common area. And the Planning Commission recommended approval with the condition that land and buildings be developed in substantial conformance to the illustrations included in the application.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. We will now open the public hearing up and begin with members of the body and ask if they have any questions or comments. Are there any members of the public here who would like to speak at the public hearing regarding this item? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Having a motion and second, we'll ask for a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Item number 15, Resolution 6601-21. Mr. Corley.
This resolution grants conditional use approval for a single multifamily community complex for property located at Knox Square, Hoover, Alabama.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 6601-21.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Mr. Martin.
Yes, Mr. President, no changes since the first reading. The Planning Commission recommends this for approval with conditions. One, the use and property restrictions included in the application are incorporated into the approval of the conditional use. Secondly, land and buildings be developed in substantial conformance to the illustrations included in the application. Number three, parking calculations be based on senior retirement apartments per the zoning ordinance. Senior retirement apartments are required to provide one space per dwelling unit. And lastly, use and property restrictions include the requirement that at least one person per unit be 55 years of age or over, and no minors under 19 years of age can reside in a unit for more than 60 days in a calendar year.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. This item requires a public hearing, so we will open up that public hearing and ask the members of the body if they have any questions or comments. Any member of the public here who would like to speak on this item? Hearing none, we will close the public hearing. With a motion and a second, we'll call for a vote and ask all in favor to say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to say nay?
Nay.
Ayes have it, and the motion carries. Now move to item number 16, resolution number 6602-21. Mr. Corley.
This resolution grants conditional use approval for Aqua Tots Swim School for the property located at 1694 Montgomery Highway, Suite 144, Hoover, Alabama.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 6602-21.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Mr. Martin.
Yes, Mr. President, no changes since the first reading. Planning Commission recommends approval with conditions. The first being no blasting to be performed in the excavation of the pool area. And secondly, facility should meet or exceed all building and life safety codes pertaining to pool facilities.
Very good. This requires a public hearing as well, so we will open up that public hearing and ask members of the body if they have any questions or comments.
Mr. President, I just have a comment.
Yes, sir.
In the year 2036, I see the applicants back here. In the 2036 Olympics, I expect to see Hoover well represented in the swimming portion. You got plenty of time. Assuming this passes, I look forward to seeing how that develops. Thank you, Mr. President.
Aqua Tots will be Aqua Teens by that time. Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Any other questions or comments from the body? Hearing none, open it up to the members of the public. Anyone here to speak on this item? We will close the public hearing. We have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. That brings us to the end of our agenda. Begin now with asking members of the body if they have any general comments before the meeting is adjourned. Hearing none, any members of the public have any public comments? Hearing none, we're adjourned.